this this works. Yeah. Well, here we are. I guess I don't know. It's just been like a week since the last time that we were here. So yeah. Also, why does it sound? Uh, why does it sound so weird? I think that sounds too weird. This is me probably. So anyway, it's been like a long time. I guess. So yeah. And, and I don't know. It has been a long time. So at least here we are. Uh, I don't know. Many things happen. I guess life, existence, and whatnot. Being. I guess. You can sum it up as being supposedly. There are many these things to do, and I don't know. Existing is quite an entertaining task. I guess it's it's quite funny to so to speak. It's by itself. It isn't something really bad, but it's time consuming, I would say, and that's fine. I guess that's something really good. It's something, so yeah, that's I guess useful. It, I guess feeling perhaps it's something basically, but yeah, the point is here we are. So that's something. That's certainly something. I guess nice after so long. I don't know. I have never really known how to measure all of such stuff in terms of, oh yeah, we have been here for X amount of time and whatnot. I don't know. I think it's one of the best ways to measure things is by accomplishments, I guess. What we get to do, what we get to see, what what we can make happen and what we can gain in terms of actions that we try to take for the sake of getting something else. All of that stuff is quite interesting, I guess, and I don't know. I just think we we can do a lot of stuff, I guess, and in terms of being here, I don't feel like recently we have had nothing happen, or I don't know how to say it. It's just the not an issue. It's just the reality of trying to be and the interest in to some degree paying attention to being. I guess it's all of that is minimally entertaining. It's fulfilling, I guess. And besides that, there are all the other things that sort of happen besides just what we want, let's say, and yeah, those are fine, I guess. Those are very, if nothing else, fine. It's just the freedom to be, I guess. That's we can say that the freedom to be is what feels fulfilling. There is this story about this guy who says something along the lines of, yeah, you cannot really be free in this world. You don't have a freedom. What you have is only the possibility to avoid doing what everyone else does in order to starve yourself to death. That idea is to some degree honest, to some other a lie, because you can choose something that is productive. You just need to properly focus and see what might have that quality inside of it. The issue is, can we actually commit ourselves to discovering that? In many occasions, it might not happen. I don't know. I think it's just wanting to know things can lead to many other events. In that, I don't know if order, but in that way of functioning. It is that things also matter a lot, and I don't know. It's sometimes it's not it's not about swimming against the current, but rather just doing something that feels nice. I don't know. I feel like the common dialogue is we shouldn't have or try to have anything that might as well be beneficial only to ourselves, but there are some things that life offers that, while they carry personal satisfaction, they also have a lot of other beneficial side effects, I guess, if we have to call them anything. And I don't know, I think it's something that we just learn to live with, not something so negative or such a horrible thing, I guess. I don't know. I just try to see it as maybe what it is. I wouldn't be so sure about that, but trying to enjoy. I wouldn't say enjoy the ride, enjoy the anything like that, but yeah, trying to enjoy the things. That's to some degree sufficient, and most of the time, I guess, what what we can get that also makes it overall entertaining. I feel like, but yeah, it's I don't know. Is it a hurdle? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't specifically use that term. I think other things are a hurdle in life. Yeah, there are unavoidably bad parts about living, I guess, that anybody has to experience. But there are some others that we can try to call them bad. They are not really that horrible. I don't see it like that personally. But I don't know. Just it's just a matter of patience, as always. Some days the whole, I guess, ordeal of having to be feels burdening. Some others, it's I think how it gets said in things that might be somewhat spiritual, I guess, is the safest description of it. It's not exactly a blessing in terms of wow, yeah, I can feel the divine power guiding my existence. No, 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 no. It's more about being becomes an enjoyment in terms of all the fulfillments that we get to have throughout that time frame. There are many things that we can see and we can experience that feel good. I don't know. There are also many other upsetting things, but that's the balance, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I I haven't written quite a lot in of this stuff, so I guess I have to try and talk about it also. Um, Sometimes it can feel like issues are a lot more dense than what they actually are. And I don't know, I think it's a good step to be capable of saying, yeah, yeah. And sometimes also they can be even less in terms of how I perceive them than what they actually are. I don't need to make a huge deal out of something that might be somewhat complicated indeed. Things can be complicated. I would be sort of depressed if they weren't, I guess. But that's not the same as. And yeah, here we are, okay. We get to have all of the stuff that we want. We get to do all of the things that we want. What's the direction? Where is the place that we are trying to go with all of those things? What's the gain in general terms? No, no, no. It's different. It's just we can have something minimally enjoyable, I guess, and that's sufficient. It's getting being capable of squeezing out, I guess, the suicide of even what might seem like the driest bit of existence ever. I don't know. It's always out of that, I guess. Seeing it from a perspective that doesn't make it look like, oh yeah, and bad things always good. I think being upset is is quite a complex emotion because at some point I think anybody can realize, yeah, I'm not really upset in terms of I am angry or I am sad, but I'm just upset about things. There are many other events that I don't get to enjoy, other things that I don't get to see, other parts of life that I don't get to have, or other experiences that I can hear that I don't get to go through myself. All of those other, I don't know, um, benefits that someone else might have, all of those things, any kind of thing that might be upsetting because we cannot have it, or we cannot go through it, or we cannot fathom, fathom how it feels. It's upsetting, or being upset is such a normal feeling, or not such a normal, such a normalized feeling. In the end, once we go back to these times in which things do not need to be so dramatic, there is no actual necessity for things to be that much of a horrible, I don't know, event, traumatic experience, and moving on is just better, I guess. The issue is, so I don't know, I guess from another or from a different side, I can say, yeah, and I, at this point, I guess also, you hear enough about all of those things from all places, I guess, and a common part of this is also, yeah, yeah, what about you don't get to get out anything? You might forget that you need to get out the stuff because you're trying to become so cold or something like that. And I don't know, man. I wouldn't say that's the case. I wouldn't. It can, not that it cannot happen, okay? It can happen, but does it actually have that much of a possibility of happening? Not really. Paying attention to your actions leads, in many cases, to better actions than if we are not even to try to, what how do you say it, remediate some situations that need fixing and that we once again we can ignore. Yeah, we should not ignore. It is incredibly dangerous to ignore some stuff like that, and yeah, at least maybe I don't know. It's that whole and another sort of similar discussion of, oh wow, but You might have to carry too much paranoia with you because you're trying to get something incredibly complex to happen. I mean, indeed, but also it is a true interest. Not an interest in a term in terms of oh wow, pleasure. No, 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 no. It's an interest in terms of just something that one actually wants, and you can see a proper, or you can give anyone else a proper justification as to why you want it, and that's also feeling. I guess that will be a sort of definition. I wouldn't know if it is the best one, but it is something. And yeah, in that sense, all of that stuff is nice. It's very nice. And I don't know, I just feel like for this whole idea, yes, it's about pushing forward. Sometimes just hear other people and it it's the underlying topic I think that you cannot really mention in any way. But yeah, it all can be boiled down to I don't know man, you're trying to push too much towards somewhere, you might end up getting hard. I don't know. It's I think it's quite messy and quite counterproductive to live life avoiding so many experiences, so many possibly bad things. They could also be possibly good, and not it doesn't rely on a dice roll or anything like that. It's you get to do things that you want, and if you do them good enough, you get to also gain other things by doing what you want. And it's that sort of balance that could be complicated to properly keep up, but the action itself is not something in any way bad. No, keeping all of that up is in itself bad. It's just, yeah, risky, but I guess if I have to say it from anywhere, I guess it must come from the culture or something like that. I believe quite strongly in that idea of it's better to die standing up than to live alive sitting down, I feel like. So it's quite a lot more useful to try and push for things to be, I guess. I don't know, it's. I just feel like, I guess, people cannot really give themselves the possibility of experiencing things of that sort. It's always the same, it's always an understandable problem. We cannot get to be honest about wanting someone to tell us that yeah, what we are doing is not so good. We do not want our life to finally fall apart if it has to. We don't need someone to go just to experience or just to get that it was unavoidable. There are bad experiences in general, but even then, it's not about oh yeah, yeah. Life is about having bad experiences and surviving them. No, no, no. It's more about, I don't know, man. It's sometimes we lose ourselves in everything else. I feel like I rarely hear somebody talk about that their life in general. It's, I guess I will also say I can find myself depressed if I was to consider things in the smaller details, but when you see a bigger picture, when you quote unquote see the whole picture, it feels better, man. It's that whole idea of hindsight and whatnot is also fundamental, I would add. And I don't know, I just feel like all of that is missing. Not because it has to be missing, but rather because we cannot allow ourselves to be too into anything. I guess it's. I have been reading, let me say it from this. I have been reading one of the most researching topics has been in, in all of the stuff that I have gone through at this point. Is these, as in plural, multiple ideas of how things that we experienced either in the recent past, in our younger years, at some point in the distant time of the already happened things, I guess, events that have already finished, that have marked us in some way. All of that is, yeah, important, has some value, but at the same time, it isn't really all that important. It's the human can live quite a lot of things, can survive or can adapt from quite a lot of events, and I just feel that we can forget about that somehow. We shouldn't, yeah, we should not forget about any of those things, but we end up doing that, and it's perplexing, I would say. It's highly perplexing. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's, I, I try to not complain, but yeah, it's hitting so consistently all of this stuff about how having a good time is hard, or having an enjoyable time seems like such an impossible task and whatnot, and getting the things that feel nice done is such a such a dream, nothing else, because getting them to exist would be to fail some sort of hidden idea, tradition, or something. And I don't know, it's this whole part about talking with oneself, that whole text out. I can also, it sounds crazy. So many things sound incredibly crazy, but I can sit down and I can think to myself, what are the things they want to have? Where is the place that they want to go? What are those events that I want to live? What's my life, and what's the rest of the existence that it will have? What am I? What's this? What's all of this? What's everything? What's nothing? What is? And it leads to answers. I just need to want truly to understand the stuff, then yeah, it leads to so many answers. Then it, I guess, one of the most repeated phrases I have heard recently was something along the lines. The problem is, it was from a psychotherapist. Is that? No, no, it's psychiatrist. That's the proper title. Yeah, sorry, from a psychiatrist who said the issue is not knowing that we have a problem or asking the patient that what problem they have. The issue is that they will give us a response. Asking the question is the problem itself. That the same thing happens or is in a personal level. Yeah, I can ask what's going to be of me in the next 20 years. And if I never even tried to stop to look at that whole idea, that whole development of my own self, the response is unavoidably, I don't know, can I survive the burden of not knowing about something that seems to be so fundamental to being? Can I survive? Can I adapt? Can I overcome the issue? I I can't say things. I can't just stand here and express so many things, but can I actually do it? Maybe it's impossible for somebody like me. Maybe I cannot really figure out all of those things. And that's when it becomes not just a question without an answer, but a problem without a proper solution. I need to confront many other things. And I need to be capable of adapting, processing other parts of life. Maybe one question leads to 20 different others. Maybe it's okay, what will be of me in 20 years? What will be of my future? What is my future? Will I have anything in my future? Am I trying to have a future? How do I know that my future will have any kind of value? What can I expect people to know that my future is going to look like? What's the point of that people? Which people will I at all have around me in those times? What are all of those directions, all of this existence? What's all of this? What's the point always? What's the meaning behind these parts of my life? And I don't know. That's once again. I don't know if the questions are going to feel good. I don't truly want sometimes to hear about those questions. Anyway, I can say that. But it also can be survived. It's a survivable experience, I guess. It's an encounter with something, with oneself, with that true part of oneself, I guess. And yeah, it leads to conclusions, it leads to, I guess, well, no matter how much I try to change the vocabulary, we're still a very capitalistic world. So yeah, it's a gain, it's a net gain to be capable of asking those things and believing that we can experience that without being broken down by what we see or hear or understand or want to live or want to do or blah blah. It's, I would say it's more just satisfying. It's not a really, oh yeah, it's a net gain. You will be 10% more efficient. No, no, it's more about things get better. There is this whole idea of, yeah, it doesn't make my day go faster or my my work hours be less. It doesn't make the time that I spend studying shorter, it doesn't alter any of those things, but everything else that gets altered is what matters. It's those silent moments of life in which things feel good. It's, I don't know, getting to sleep without any problem. Some days that feel nicer. It's all of that stuff. It's always a, I will say, another complication of how we can experience goodness, how we can experience happiness, and it doesn't need to be exactly that. It's cool to be something different. Just being more for the sake of being than trying to understand everything else about being so much. I don't know, everything can be said to possess some sort of pressure. Even dreams exert pressure on us, but it's this crushing, dense, hard to carry pressure. That sort of pressure that one doesn't actually need to left some things unattained or unattended, unattended. And yeah, I don't know. It's just I guess looking around. Then everything else is also more experi ex yeah, experienceable, I guess. That will be the proper way to say it. It's just that I don't know. I guess I can say I feel like it's in a will to not be dark with all of those ideas, but I can also feel like some days it's this lack of questions or this non-existent doubts in the life of most that also make it so hard to move in any other way. Are you truly sure that you are getting towards anywhere that you are going to find comfort in is the things that you have around you, the whole set of them, truly something that you enjoy? Is your presence somewhere something that you can say feels welcome? What are the answers to many of those fundamental questions? Is it? I don't even need a positive one. Some in most cases, I just need answers. The human deserves to know things, and it's this willful ignorance towards life that makes it look like such a disappointing thing, I guess. It's always this almost like endless whining about how we don't get to see or to find the pleasurable things. We don't get to gain stuff. We don't get to have positive things. but actuality reveals something quite different. The world can be indeed enjoyable. It's an incredible statement, but yeah, life can be fulfilling. Being tired can feel good. The actions of today do not need to be anything bad. It's just a question of, yeah, I get to I get to have what I want, I guess. Not because it's just a basic desire, but rather because it's something that makes me have more, and that's enough. I guess I don't know. It's always a complicated discussion. I guess I haven't still trying to process all of that. It's this degree to or yeah, this degree of honesty that can allow you to say, I want the stuff. I do indeed want some things. I I am not going to die if I don't have these parts of what might constitute my future life. But I can want things. I can at least be capable of recognizing that I want things. I want. Or what I mentioned before. If you want to see it as any kind of capitalistic explanation of the world, yeah, gains. I want to gain this, I want to gain that, I want to be in the positives with this, I want to possess this, I don't know, this status, this property, this one valuable object. Yeah, but it's not for the sake of having it. It's for everything else. I guess it's all the other things that come with wanting. It's also the predisposition to what it means to want something. What's the interest on seeing what happens after I get this one thing? It's it's a long process. I guess it's just getting to see it and getting to accept that it will make things move. I guess that will be a better, or at least a basic explanation. I wouldn't say a better. I don't think it is a better explanation, but it is at least some sort of explanation of any kind. So that's nice. But yeah, it's just sometimes we make this whole ordeal of being feel like such a hurdle, and no, no. Sadly, I can't agree with that, man. I think if the life of anyone is boring, I would say that that is in itself one of the most dark things to say, even if it has no malice behind it. But yeah, there are so many parts to still experience about this world. It's such, I don't know. I think we have the blessing, I guess, of video games and whatnot. So it's complicated to not compare them to. We have the widest array of possibilities to experience in life. You wanna talk about multiple endings? Life itself is the thing with the most possibilities ever. Nothing else compares to that, to living alive. And I don't think it's overwhelming. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's negative or depressing to know that sometimes one didn't choose other things without any other judgment of value or judgment of any other sort. There are just other options. And yeah, it's fine. Life is amazing. It can be amazing. To hear that it doesn't have anything is quite, I don't know, disappointing. Truly, we have so many interests to feel, so many places to be in, so many actions to do, so many everything. It has everything. I don't know. I don't. I guess I will at this point. I Ah, I haven't one of those many things that I also have been reading about or trying to go through has been information about processing duels or dueling for stuff. Mourning, more accurately, the proper word that English uses is mourning things, mourning losses in life and whatnot. And all of that is truly not just interesting, but also useful. It's something quite useful. But yeah, it's at this point, I guess I have to slowly start to mourn that. Yeah, I won't get that blessing of. I will believe that we will die, and after that, an eternal paradise will come of any other kind or any other promise. It's it's time to slowly fantasies are good when we have them about this world, but it's quite a harmful habit to find oneself dreaming, daydreaming about oh everything else that comes after this existence might be. Not just because trying to at all care is bad, but rather because it's to some degree better to just not even bother with all of that. Whatever it gets to be, that's it. Whatever it gets to become, that's it. That's at least it's good. So at least I can say that I'm happy with that. Yeah, yeah. But it doesn't kill me if I don't know how. It won't kill me exactly to not have awareness out of that. Yeah, it's subtly better for me to try and look at here, at this land, not that different one, I guess. It's just you. Anyone can do it. Anyone has the right to do to some degree whatever they want. Along, I don't know, a very basic politics line, as the Constitution will say. Any human is free to do in the world as much as they want, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else or it affects in any way anyone else. Something like that. This, this whole idea also about limits and what's not about. Okay, my limits end where yours begin and what's not. That same thing. Exactly the same thing. I don't need to care. I'm not obliged to care. It's such a complex thing, I guess. Such a weird. I don't know if it is tradition, it's just a weird points to consider. Let's say, let's try to say it like that. Points that we end up conceding. Idea that we just stop fighting for. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I will. I will actually care so much more about all of these other places, all of these other things, all of everything else will seem a lot more useful. Truly, I don't know, man. I thought you I thought that one of the many points about being alive was, yeah, and you should try to have an interest in being alive. You shouldn't force yourself to be alive. It's something that should come naturally, even if it requires effort, because there is nothing that does not require effort. Even if it does require some degree of effort, it can be nice. It can be a justified effort. It can be something that you can say, yeah, yeah, I can do. I can strive towards never. Yet here we are. Such a, I guess, disorienting reality. How much of that is seen as not truly an enjoyable thing, I guess. Not truly a thing. To be content with the choice of surviving is mal. Not contempt, but yeah, have some sort of positive emotion towards knowing that, yeah, we have to stay alive. This ah, I don't know. I guess you can kind of trace it from there. That whole idea of never kill yourself and what's not. It's it's just complicated. I guess I can say it from this perspective. It's trying to understand, trying to properly understand out of that stuff. It's it's very easy to criticize when we are not in that place ourselves, but I guess it must not as if, oh yeah, I cannot at all imagine, but I guess it does feel bad to not have the pleasure of knowing that where I might be in life is where I actually want to be. Knowing that, yeah, I might have missed many things and I will never get the opportunity to have them back. I can also torture myself mentally like that. I don't need to. I don't know, man. I just see it from a place of honesty. One day we realize I don't truly want to keep worrying about these things or these events or these parts that I have to go through every single day. I cannot keep worrying. There- this idea of one of the only guaranteed things in life is that we will die. I do not need to kill myself in doubts because, oh yeah, I have the possibility to do that. Not that I have the necessity, I have the possibility to I don't know, over worry. I have the possibility to just keep looking at the same handful of things every single day until they lose all meaning. I can't make my life quite unenjoyable through my own actions. Through my own actions, I will choose to do that. No, no, I don't know. It's not particularly my sort of game. I guess it doesn't need to be. One isn't obliged to follow those ideas, instructions, concepts, guidelines. So at the end, it becomes a more proper choice, a more free choice, a more willful choice. And that's sufficient. That's more than sufficient, I guess. But yeah, it's it's always how all of that is. One day, choosing one to be as difficult and I don't know. We won't have as many trolls choosing anything. I guess that could be a more proper saying for the general. It's just that sometimes it's not even about choosing anything. We are not obliged to always choose something. Sometimes it's just letting things be, I guess. And that's also nice. I can say I find some degrees of stillness go. There is this necessity to be involved in everything. I don't know, man. It's so weird. Once again, and for the sake of what? What to what I say most of the time? I can try to talk from a more rational perspective, but at least from a subjective one, it feels so good to say it. I guess. What do I gain if I spend my whole night over worrying about certain things? If I rob myself of the possibility of resting just because I have to keep thinking about this thing. I don't know, man. That expression of I slept like a baby, yeah, I can pretty much utilize it myself. It's quite a common occurrence. I don't need I don't know if it is a need. It's just being accustomed to I don't from a more simple perspective, I myself don't have to deal with getting into bed. Me and my 20 different demons of things that still haunt me to this day. No, I can close my eyes, calm down, and fall asleep. It's not constant anguish about stuff. This weird attraction to feeling bad, I guess. That's also part of, I guess, the issue. So many things that feel like forced, anxiety inducing events. Sometimes, yeah, a wonderful discovery is life can be made quite simpler just because we have the possibility of choosing. Just with that, life can be better. It's it's true. Some days what I said before, we might take many choices. We might make some that we will end up thinking about in terms of we should have chosen other things. Always. That always happen. But does it actually matter? No, no. I can also just accept that I did what I did. I cannot change it. That's it. But I don't know. Having regrets are in general such a hard thing to let go. They feel good. At least I can justify losing my time if I have many of them, if I have a handful of them that I can regard to in order to remind myself that I should have done this or that or blah blah blah. I don't actually need them, but I have them at least on my hand, so that's something. But yeah, I don't know. Life is not so worrisome, I guess, and it's never needed to be as worrisome as we like to make it look like, I guess. So yeah, just chill. That's my message basically.